Hello everyone, and welcome to another Red Raptor Writes. One subject that always seems to come up in my videos is that of character arcs. Over the past 2.5 years, we've looked at some fantastic progression and some that give me the urge to do some good old-fashioned seppuku. Simply defined, a character arc is how a character changes over the course of a story. They start as one person and end as another. Although not strictly necessary, a good arc can totally make a narrative just like a terrible one can break it. Because it's so important to writing a story, I think it'll be a fun activity to see what constitutes as great character development. And what better person to do so than Prince Zuko from Avatar: The Last Airbender. What was created with him by Nickelodeon was nothing short of perfection. Yeah, Aang, Katara, Sokka, and Toph are all awesome in their own ways, but it was really the story of Zuko that sold me on this phenomenal show. The way the writers progressed him throughout the show's 3 seasons is some of the best television I've ever seen. So, what makes Prince Zuko's character arc utter perfection? What can everyone else learn from this decade-old show? Let's dig this up. We're introduced to Prince Zuko and his caring Uncle Iroh immediately, and their journey is played alongside Avatar Aang's for most of the series. When we first meet him, we see him as one of the show's main antagonists, next to Commander Zhao and the ever-lingering presence of the Fire Lord. Zuko begins the show in the midst of a constant hunt for the Avatar who's been missing for 100 years. This brings us to our first vocabulary word, a want. Every engaging character has a want, something they strive for but they don't really need. They don't know what they need yet. The want is usually something basic, something that our undeveloped character desires in life. A need is something more complex that they discover only after maturing. Zuko's want is for his honor to be restored. This leads to the serious angst we see in Season 1.
Oh my god, stop killing me! Get the f*** out of my room and play Minecraft!
He lashes out at everyone as he desperately hunts Aang. Although the prince is more of Aang's antagonist at this point in the story, it's important to note how active he is in his quest. Prince Zuko is an extremely proactive character, searching every corner of the map for his target. This conviction makes him someone to root for. This longing for justice we all have inside us says that whoever puts in the effort should reap the reward. This makes the active Zuko more likable overall. On the other hand, our character still has much to learn, as he maintains a short temper and makes short-sighted decisions. And this brings me to yet another integral part of introducing a character beginning their arc, their lie. The character believes something about themselves or the world around them, and this belief holds them back from their fullest potential. Prince Chemical Romance over here holds onto the lie that he can be a brutal and fierce warrior like his father and sister Azula. He still believes that respect is gained through conquest and sheer power, a lie instilled into him by Ozai. Azula is completely insane and revels in violence, unlike Zuko, who clearly cares for his soldiers, uncle, mother, and girlfriend May. Zuko isn't Azula, no matter how hard he tries. Uncle Iroh opposes Ozai's view. For the entire series, Iroh tries to teach his surrogate son how honor is not gained through violence but by compassion and kindness. Iroh knows firsthand what the bloodthirsty philosophy of Fire Nation leads to, and does his best to spare Zuko from his own pitfalls. Iroh failed his own son by bringing him up in the ways of the bloodthirsty Fire Nation and sees Zuko as his second chance. The two opposing ideologies clash emotionally within the prince and physically on his face. The inciting incident is the hero's call to action. Avatar, The Last Airbender, took a risky move by putting the inciting incident in a flashback. It's a dramatic event in the protagonist's life that causes them to go on the adventure we the audience follow that forces them to grow and change as individuals. Usually this occurs halfway through the first act, which is where the flashback comes in the episode The Storm. It's one of my favorite episodes and explores Zuko's origins and why he undertook this massive adventure in the first place. As part of the kid's caring nature, he spoke out in the Fire Lord's war room when generals planned to sacrifice the lives of new recruits in a costly maneuver. Just for speaking out, Zuko was forced to duel the Fire Lord, to which the terrified kid refused. This penitence Ozai found dishonorable, so he left his son a permanent mental and physical scar. This is our hero's inciting incident or call to action. Now the only way for Zuko to restore himself is by capturing the Avatar. In your typical character arc, this first turning point is the point when we begin to see our protagonist turn. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We start to see their potential for change as the conflicts in the plot cause them to grow. One other reason why Prince Zuko's character arc is at the center of the series is because his turning points directly coalesce with the structure of the plot. We'll certainly see more of this later, but for Book 1, his main goal is to capture Aang. Book 2 shows him grow during his time as a fugitive in the Earth Kingdom. Both Zuko and Iroh battled the now Admiral Zhao at the siege of the Northern Water Kingdom, causing a Fire Nation defeat. Because of this, by the start of Book 2, both outcasts find themselves on the run from Princess Azula and her Fire Nation forces, having to hide throughout the Earth Kingdom. Everything Zuko longed for gets stripped away from him. His pride, his power, his ship, his men, everything gone, except his uncle. All his devotion to the Fire Nation has been for naught, and now he must journey on a path of self-discovery. This journey he's going on through the Earth Kingdom is a humbling one to say the least. Not only has he lost all his connections to the Fire Nation, but now anyone who learns of his firebending instantly hates him. Instead of living in a palace or at least having a crew of men, he's stuck in a tea shop with his uncle serving others. Never in his life had he been such an outcast, needing to hide who he is and what he's capable of, a stark contrast to the prideful, loud hothead from Book 1. But during his time in the Earth Kingdom, we do see him caring for and helping others. We see him battling Earth Kingdom thugs, and even going on a date. He's being the genuine and caring person that he tried to suppress in Book 1. We see his potential for growth as this side of him comes out more. Our second turning point comes at the end of Book 2, and not coincidentally, the end of Avatar's second act. It's at this moment in a lot of stories that our main character rejects growth. After all the progress they've made so far, they fall back into their previous tendencies as they're not yet fully willing to change. Many times, and very powerfully, this comes through a pivotal choice in the narrative. The time of rejection comes for Zuko at the fall of Ba Sing Se, the Earth Kingdom capital. Azula and her insanely talented friends have infiltrated the Earth Kingdom, posing as their Kyoshi warriors, and Azula used the Secret Service Dai Li to stage a coup of the king and minister. By joining the new regime and assisting his sister's conquest, She offers to restore her brother's honor and position in the Empire, a choice Uncle Iroh desperately attempts to push Zuko away from. Although extremely powerful, Azula proves unable to defeat both Aang and Katara together, until Zuko comes to sway the battle in favor of the Firebenders. This tells us audiences that Prince Zuko still believes the lie that violence and conquest grant honor, as he sides with his sister over his uncle. In doing so, he rejects his truth. A character's truth is basically the opposite of their lie.
Yeah, this big brain time.
The lie is what holds them back, keeps them from realizing their fullest potential. A character's truth is what they have to embrace in order to grow as a person and fulfill their arc. Zuko's truth is that he's a caring, compassionate person who doesn't hold the same ruthlessness as his father and sister. That great displays of strength don't bring true honor and respect. Again, truth versus lie. Iroh versus Ozai. The prince's rejection of the truth and pursuit of his original want thrusts us into the third act as Team Avatar have to cobble up a group of fighters and a plan to take down the Fire Lord before Sozin's comet arrives. The climax is an integral part of any plot. Every narrative following your basic story structure has one. A climax is the pinnacle of tension in a story, where the conflict reaches its greatest peak and the protagonists have to use everything they've learned in order to resolve the conflict. It's where our heroes have a realization of their arc and progression throughout the story and embrace the change. This new realization is what carries them through to the end. Of course, this comes for Zuko in Book 3. After Azula's takeover of Ba Sing Se, she honored her word, bringing her brother back as a hero of the Fire Nation who has received back his power and position. He's together with Mai, and Ozai even has Zuko sit as his right-hand man. At this point in the show, he's gotten everything he's ever wanted in life, but feels unsatisfied.
Answer the question, Zuko.
Talk to us.
Come on, answer the question. Come on, answer it.
I'm angry at myself!
Why?
Because I'm confused. Because I'm not sure I know the difference between right and wrong anymore.
Prince Edgelord knows deep inside himself that he made the wrong choice in the Earth Kingdom. His want was satisfied, but it is here that he truly discovers his need. Again, characters going through an arc should always have a want and a need, similar to their truth and lie. The need is what will make the protagonist truly happy or successful. They may not know it, and then even reject it originally, but as a character matures, it becomes ever more clear that their want was unhealthy, and their rejected need is the correct choice. Zuko's want was for Ozai to restore his honor by capturing the Avatar. His need, however, he discovers here, to join Aang and teach him firebending. So during the day of Black Sun, as Ozai is powerless to stand against him, Prince Zuko finally overcomes his internal struggle, accepts the truth, and embraces his need. He stands up to Ozai and calls him out for his vicious, destructive ideology and announces that he's joining Team Avatar in order to bring down the Fire Nation.
We've created an era of fear in the world. And if we don't want the world to destroy itself, we need to replace it with an era of peace and kindness.
Your uncle has gotten to you, hasn't he?
Yes, he has.
Now that he's fully matured, he gives up everything he once wanted in order to join Aang, finding his need. Our now favorite protagonist finally rejects Ozai as his father and fully embraces Iroh and his teachings, thus completing his character arc. Once the war ends, Zuko is rewarded for his growth, and he's given the title of Fire Lord over a reforming nation, May as his future wife, and a true friendship with Aang. It's so beautiful. Avatar: The Last Airbender is a fantastic show that I recommend everyone watch if you haven't already. It's not something I grew up with, but a series I only watched recently. Even without nostalgia goggles, it instantly became one of my favorite shows ever to grace my eyeballs. It's a true testament to the power of animation and how much potential it has as an art medium. Although the animation and acting are all great, its true strength is in how well it treats its characters. I've seen plenty of stories fail to do what a Nickelodeon cartoon mastered over a decade ago. Yes, Aang, Katara, and Sokka all got great progression, but the true home run was Prince Zuko. His character arc drove the entire plot and was nothing short of perfection. We clearly saw his wants and how he rejected them for his need, how he left lies to embrace truths, how every choice he made controlled the direction of the story, and how the angsty prince evolved into a humble king. So when crafting the ever so important character arc, every writer in Hollywood should look to Zuko from The Last Airbender as the undisputed gold standard. Man, that show was awesome. Remember, if you enjoyed this video, to please leave a like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you next time.